She went to buy snacks and vanished forever. Aniah Blanchard story. Before we dive in, kindly hit the subscribe button and let us know where you are watching from in the comments. It was October 23, 2019. A crisp fall night in Auburn, Alabama. Leaves rustled gently on sidewalks. College kids buzzed between classes, coffee shops, and late-night study sessions. On the surface, it was ordinary, unremarkable, but for 19-year-old Aniah Blanchard, that night would mark her last known moments. A normal trip to a gas station, a quick snack run, something thousands of people do every day. But Aniah never came back. Her disappearance would unravel a chilling story, a tale of danger hiding in plain sight, and a nation that would rally behind a desperate search for answers. Aniah was vibrant, fierce, sweet. She was a Southern Union College student. She loved makeup, music, and her younger brother. Her mother, Angela Harris, said she had the kind of spirit that made everyone feel safe around her. She could light up a room. That night, Aniah texted her roommate around 10:30 p.m. She said she was going to a convenience store. A few minutes later, she sent a Snapchat, her face smiling, her location tagged to a Chevron gas station on South College Street. Then nothing. Silence. First, no one panicked. College kids get busy. Phones die. Maybe she went to a friend's place. Maybe she crashed at someone's apartment. But by morning, no one had seen or heard from her. Her phone was off. Her car was gone. Something was wrong. Angela tried calling. Again and again. No response. She texted. No blue bubble. No read receipts. She called Aniah's brother, her friends, her boyfriend. No one had seen her. Angela knew something was off. Deep in her gut. This wasn't just a missed call. Something had happened. She contacted the police. Auburn Police Department filed a missing person report. At first, they didn't act urgently. Aniah was 19, legally an adult. Maybe she left on her own. But Angela pushed back. My daughter didn't just walk away. She knew Aniah. She knew her patterns. Aniah didn't go off-grid. Not without telling someone. Angela drove to Auburn. She retraced her daughter's steps. Chevron, parking lot, trash bins, gas pumps. She asked to see the surveillance footage. At first, they refused. Said it needed police approval. Angela waited, pleaded. Eventually, they agreed. And what she saw chilled her. The footage showed Aniah walking into the gas station around 10:45 p.m. She grabbed some chips, walked past the counter, paid, walked out. Normal. But seconds later, a man followed her. Not just anyone. Tall man, bearded, dark clothes. He didn't buy anything. He didn't talk to the cashier. He followed her outside. The video ended there. Angela froze. Who is that? She asked. No one knew. Police reviewed the footage. They zoomed in, pulled stills, sent the images out to other agencies. But the man's identity remained a mystery until a tip came in. Someone recognized him. Ibrahim Yazid, out on bond for attempted murder. A violent history, a known danger. He shouldn't have been on the streets, but he was. And now he was tied to Aniah's disappearance. Police issued a warrant for Yazid's arrest. He fled. A multi-state manhunt began. Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Everyone was watching. Aniah's face was on every screen. Amber alerts, news tickers, Twitter hashtags. Angela appeared on TV, begging, crying, fighting through tears. Please bring my baby home. Celebrities joined in. Walt Harris, Aniah's stepfather and UFC fighter, used his platform. He pleaded with fans, promised a reward, said he wouldn't stop until he found her. Days turned into weeks. Rumors spread. People claimed sightings. Tips poured in. None panned out, until one led to a grisly discovery. On November 25, 2019, over a month after she vanished, a body was found in a wooded area in Macon County, near a rural road. Covered, left, forgotten, but not for long. Forensics confirmed it. It was Aniah. Her body had been discarded like trash. But she was more than that. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a fighter. Angela collapsed when she heard. Walt punched a wall. The world grew silent. Family shattered. Community enraged. How could this happen? How could someone with a history of violence be free? Why wasn't Yazid locked up? The questions burned. But the pain was stronger. The story of Aniah Blanchard was no longer just about a missing person. It was about systemic failure. It was about justice. And the beginning of a fight that wouldn't stop. Because one trip to buy snacks ended in tragedy. But her story wouldn't end there. It was just the beginning. Ibrahim Yazid's name sent a chill down spines. Those who knew him called him unstable, violent, dangerous. He wasn't someone you wanted to cross paths with. And yet, Aniah did. He was already facing charges. He'd assaulted an elderly man, left him barely alive. But somehow he'd been granted bond. Free to walk the streets. Free to harm again. When investigators reviewed the Chevron surveillance footage, they saw it clearly. Yazid standing just inside the door. Watching. Waiting. He didn't move until Aniah exited. Then he followed. That moment, those few seconds of tape would become the anchor of the case. Prosecutors, police, media, and the public all locked onto it. It was the last confirmed sighting of Aniah alive. Her car, a black 2017 Honda CR-V, was missing too, and that car would lead investigators deeper into the darkness. 3 days after her disappearance, her vehicle was discovered, abandoned in Montgomery, Alabama, over 50 miles away from the gas station. The driver's side was damaged. The passenger's seat was stained with blood. A crime lab later confirmed it was Aniah's. Now, it wasn't just a missing person case. It was a kidnapping, and it was likely a murder. Inside the car, more clues emerged. A receipt from the Chevron, a bag of chips, and DNA, male DNA, not just Aniah's. A match to Yazid. It was damning. U.S. Marshals, the FBI, and state authorities launched an aggressive search. Yazid had fled, a fugitive now, moving quickly, crossing state lines, Alabama to Florida, possibly even further. Tips poured in. Then a breakthrough. In Pensacola, Florida, a witness spotted him. He was staying in a hotel, trying to change his appearance. He was arrested without incident, but the damage had already been done. Yazid was extradited to Alabama, charged with first-degree kidnapping. But the investigation was just beginning. What had happened to Aniah? Was she still alive? Was there a chance? Angela clung to hope. Despite the mounting evidence, she prayed. Prayed for a miracle. Prayed that maybe, just maybe, Aniah was somewhere waiting to be rescued. Investigators interrogated Yazid. He said nothing, refused to cooperate, cold, silent, unmoved. But eventually a second arrest was made. Antoine "Squirmy" Fisher, a man with a record, a man accused of helping Yazid dispose of Aniah's body. Fisher wasn't the mastermind, but he was a piece of the puzzle. And he talked. According to court documents, Fisher said Yazid confessed to killing Aniah, told him he had messed up, that the girl had fought back, that she was too much to handle. Fisher told authorities he helped Yazid load the body into a vehicle. He described the wooded area where they left her. That led law enforcement to Macon County, to the site, to the tragic discovery. Aniah had been left face down, covered in brush. The scene was isolated, rural. Someone who knew the area had picked it. Someone familiar with hiding things. Angela broke down, not just for the loss, but for the brutality. Aniah had been abducted, assaulted, and murdered by someone who should have never been free. Public outrage erupted. How could a man with Yazid's background be out on bond? Why wasn't the system tracking him? Why wasn't there more protection for victims? The justice system had failed. Again, Governor Kay Ivey called for answers. Lawmakers began discussing Aniah's Law, a proposal to give judges more power to deny bail for violent offenders. A law that might have saved her. A law that would carry her name. Angela turned her grief into action. She met with officials, testified before legislative panels, shared Aniah's story with anyone who would listen, because no other family should suffer like hers. Meanwhile, Yazid sat in jail, refusing to speak, pleading not guilty, awaiting trial. But the evidence was mounting. Cell tower data, surveillance footage, DNA, witness testimony, all pointed to one man. The community grieved. They held vigils, wore purple ribbons, Aniah's favorite color. College campuses lit candles. UFC fans rallied behind Walt Harris. Everyone remembered the bright smile that was taken too soon. Aniah's death became more than a headline. It became a movement, a mission, to protect others, to change laws, to demand justice. Angela continued to fight. She told her daughter's story with heartbreaking clarity. Each detail, each tear. She made the world care. But justice takes time. Trials get delayed. Evidence gets challenged. The legal system moves slowly. But Angela waited. So did Walt. And so did the world. Because monsters don't hide in closets anymore. They walk among us, out on bail, free to strike again. But Aniah's story lit a fire, a warning, call to action, and a reminder that even in the darkest shadows, truth eventually emerges. For more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The courthouse buzzed. Reporters packed the sidewalks. Cameras clicked. Microphones extended. This wasn't just another criminal trial. This was Aniah Blanchard's case, and all eyes were on it. Angela walked through the crowd, stoic, shattered, holding a framed picture of her daughter. Her hands trembled. Her steps were steady. She had waited for this moment, and it had come. Ibrahim Yazid would face justice, or so everyone hoped. It took months to prepare. Defense attorneys filed motions, delays, continuances, procedural maneuvers. They challenged the evidence, questioned the DNA chain of custody, attacked the credibility of the second witness, Antoine Fisher. But the prosecution pushed forward. Piece by piece, they built a case. Opening statements began on a quiet Monday morning. The prosecutor walked to the jury box, took a breath. Then he spoke. This is a case of a predator, a man who targeted a young woman for no reason other than his own twisted desires. A man who should have never been on the street. And a young life, Aniah's life, that ended far too soon. He pointed to Yazid. That man took her. That man ended her life. And the evidence will prove it. Yazid sat motionless, expression blank, eyes dull. The defense countered quickly. They framed the story differently. Mr. Yazid is not a monster, his attorney said. He is a man, accused by a system that wants a quick resolution, with evidence that is circumstantial at best. The tension in the room was thick. Witness after witness testified. Chevron employees, police officers, forensics experts, Angela, Walt Harris. And then came the footage, that grainy video, played on a large monitor. It showed Aniah walking into the gas station, then walking out, followed by Yazid. Every juror watched in silence. The lead investigator walked through the timeline. The phone data, the vehicle location, the blood in the car, Aniah's DNA, Yazid's DNA, then the text messages. Deleted, recovered, some of them chilling. One message sent from Yazid's phone, hours after Aniah disappeared, said only, handled. The courtroom gasped. Angela covered her mouth. Walt bowed his head. Antoine Fisher took the stand. He recounted what Yazid told him, how he panicked, how Aniah had fought, how he had messed up. Fisher's words were shaky, but consistent. The defense attacked, suggested Fisher had cut a deal, that he had a motive to lie, that he was the real killer. But the prosecution reminded the jury, Yazid was the one seen with Aniah. Yazid's DNA was in the car. Yazid was on the run. Fisher had stayed, cooperated, confessed. Angela took the stand last. Her voice cracked. Her words were clear. She talked about Aniah's dreams, her kindness, her strength, and the nightmare that followed her disappearance. She ended with a plea. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for justice." Closing arguments arrived. The prosecution recapped every detail, every fact, every thread. "The evidence doesn't lie," they said. "The truth is in the timeline, the DNA, the footage, the confession." The defense offered doubt. "There is no video of the crime, no eyewitness, just a theory." But the jury had heard enough. Deliberations took one full day. 12 people, 12 minds, weighing every moment, weighing a life. Then the verdict. Everyone rose. The judge asked for silence. The foreperson stood. "We, the jury, find the defendant guilty." Angela wept. Walt exhaled. The room erupted in quiet sobs. Yazid stared ahead. Still blank, still silent. The judge's gavel came down. Sentencing would come later, but the truth had been acknowledged. Aniah was gone, and the man responsible would never hurt another woman again. Outside the courthouse, cameras swarmed. Angela stood firm. "We didn't win. We lost Aniah, but we got justice." She thanked law enforcement, thanked the jury, and reminded everyone, this isn't just our story. It's the story of every family who's waited for justice. Chapter 3 ends not in celebration, but in solemn victory. The flames of pain still burned, but so did the light of truth, and that mattered. The courtroom was empty now. The echoes of the verdict had faded. But for Angela, the fight wasn't over. Justice, yes, but not prevention. Aniah's killer had been free on bond, a man with a history of violence. That had to change. Angela turned grief into fire. She started making calls, writing letters, attending hearings. She had a new mission, to make sure no other family walked the path hers had. Aniah's Law, that was the name, started small. A local representative introduced it to the Alabama legislature. The goal? To allow judges more authority to deny bail to violent offenders. Currently, many suspects, even repeat offenders, were granted bail by default. Angela wanted to change that. So did the community. So did the nation. Angela testified. In front of committees, panels, the press. She held up Aniah's photo. "This is the face of a daughter stolen." She didn't read from notes. She spoke from memory, from heartbreak, from rage, and from resolve. Momentum built. News stations picked up the story. "Grieving mother pushes for new bail reform law," headlines read. Social media joined in. The hashtag Aniah's Law began to trend. People posted purple hearts, wore purple ribbons, demanded change. Angela met with lawmakers in Montgomery. She met with the governor, with victims' rights organizations, with other parents, parents who had also lost children, some to violent crime, some to the failures of the system. Together, they stood as one. In early sessions, the bill stalled. Politics slowed the process. Some lawmakers raised concerns. Due process, constitutional rights. But Angela didn't give up. She returned, again and again, with folders, with photos, with pain, and with purpose. Eventually, the tides turned. The bill passed the House, then the Senate. Unanimous support. Cheers erupted. Angela cried. But this time, from hope. Governor Kay Ivey signed the bill into law. "This is for Aniah," she said. The ceremony was small, but the moment was huge. Purple flags flew. Aniah's portrait stood on an easel. A single white candle flickered beside it. Aniah's Law meant violent offenders could be held without bond. It empowered judges, prioritized public safety, and it gave victims a louder voice. But Angela didn't stop there. She pushed for Aniah's Law to go national. She met with lawmakers in D.C. She appeared on national broadcasts, told her story on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. She sat across from anchors, tears in her eyes, strength in her voice. "Aniah was a fighter," she told Anderson Cooper. "She'd want us to fight too." The movement gained traction. Other states adopted versions of the law. Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Georgia. Aniah's name was spreading. So was her legacy. At Auburn University, a scholarship was founded, in Aniah's name, for students who had overcome adversity. Each recipient received a purple sash, a reminder that Aniah's light lived on. Angela traveled to high schools, told students about self-defense, awareness, trusting their instincts. She distributed personal alarms, created a safety app, built a foundation, all in Aniah's honor. She also visited prisons, talked with inmates, not to blame, but to learn, to ask, what could have stopped this? Some had answers, some had none, but all listened, and many wept. Aniah's face became a symbol, not just of loss, but of change, of advocacy, of power. The story reached classrooms. Civics teachers used it to explain how laws are made, how pain can become policy. Angela became a guest lecturer. You don't need a title to change the world, she told students. Just a reason. Meanwhile, Angela was still grieving. Behind the speeches, behind the cameras, there were quiet nights, empty rooms, unanswered texts, and birthdays that would never come. But she carried on. For Aniah, for others, for justice. She often returned to the Chevron station, left flowers, stood in silence, remembered her daughter's laugh, her bright eyes, her silly jokes, and her big dreams. Angela wasn't a politician. She wasn't a lawyer. She was a mother, and she became a force. If one girl is saved because a monster wasn't given bond, she said, then my baby didn't die in vain. Chapter 4 ends with a law and a legacy. Aniah is gone, but her name is written into the justice system, carved into courtrooms, echoing in classrooms, living in the hearts of every girl who now walks a little safer. Because one mother refused to stay silent. Years passed, but the story never faded. Aniah's face continued to appear in classrooms, on advocacy posters, in candlelight vigils. Angela's voice remained steady, unwavering, passionate, and the country kept listening. The ripple effect of Aniah's life and her tragic death reached places no one could have imagined. Her story became part of police training materials, part of college orientation sessions, part of legislation conversations in multiple states. Everywhere her name was spoken, action followed. In Texas, a local judge denied bond to a repeat violent offender. He cited Aniah's law as his reason. The mother of the victim wrote Angela a letter. Because of your daughter, my daughter is still alive. Angela wept as she read it. She framed the letter and hung it next to Aniah's picture. The Aniah Blanchard Foundation expanded. What started as a one-woman crusade grew into a national organization. They provided free self-defense classes to high school girls, safety app downloads with real-time alerts, funding for forensic tech and DNA backlog clearing, legal support for families of the missing. Every effort bore Aniah's name. One girl, age 17, wrote in a scholarship application, "When I felt unsafe walking home one night, I used the Aniah app. It alerted my family. A neighbor came out. I was safe. Thank you, Aniah." These stories multiplied. Thousands. A digital monument of lives touched, lives changed, lives protected. In a small town in Mississippi, an 18-year-old girl spoke at her graduation. She ended her speech with a tribute for Aniah and for every girl who walks alone and deserves to make it home. The auditorium gave her a standing ovation. Angela was in the crowd. Tears streamed silently down her face. New York Times ran a feature, "From Grief to Greatness: How One Mother Changed American Law." Time magazine listed Angela among its 100 most influential people. She declined the photo shoot. She said, "I didn't do this for attention. I did it so no other mother feels this kind of silence." At Auburn, a new mural was painted. Aniah smiling, surrounded by light. Words at the bottom: "Walk with strength. Walk with purpose. Walk home." One day, Angela visited the mural alone. She stood quietly, her fingers tracing the edge of Aniah's painted face. She whispered, "You did it, baby. You made the world better." Aniah's law was eventually introduced at the federal level. Faced debate, resistance, criticism from civil liberties groups, but it made it to the floor. Angela sat in the gallery, history repeating, this time in Washington. A senator from Georgia stood and spoke. We must remember that justice is not just about punishment. It's about prevention. And Aniah's story reminds us why we must act. The chamber was quiet. Some nodded. Some wiped away tears. The vote passed. Federal courts now had stronger discretion in bond decisions. Angela's fight had shaped national law, but she wasn't done. She created a traveling exhibit, The Faces of Justice. It featured portraits of victims, not just Aniah, but many, their stories told in their parents' voices. The exhibit toured universities, law schools, courthouses. Angela often stood by the entrance, greeting students, answering questions, telling stories, and always listening. In the final section of the exhibit, a quote lit in soft purple light, "Justice is not the end. It is the beginning of change." Years later, Angela stood at another graduation. This time it was her niece, wearing a purple ribbon, majoring in criminal justice. Inspired by Aniah, she walked across the stage and said, "This is for my cousin." Angela clapped through tears. Aniah's story had not faded. It had flourished into laws, into programs, into safety, into hope, and into generations who now walk safer streets. Because one young woman went to buy snacks and never came home, but her light never went out. It spread, it grew, and it changed everything. For more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.